Hi everyone and welcome to Good for the Game TV, where our aim is to turn your sporting knowledge into profits. Hi there from me, Brent Graham. Good to be with you on this soccer betting show tonight. We're going to be having a look at the weekend's English Premier League and PSL fixtures, see if we can unearth a bit of betting value there from the bookmakers. And who better to do that with me than Mr. Good for the Game himself, Chris Sturdy, all the way from Knysna. Chris, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Brent. Good shows today with GG Gaming and then the Rugby Handicap Show. Let's see if we can find a few winners in the 40.
Certainly could. I must tell you that GG Gaming Show was classic, and that old Gary didn't realize he couldn't be back at his iPad or his computer and that. And eventually we had to get him on the phone. And it was news to me that you can actually do these calls from a phone, but now we know for future reference, you can actually get on a phone if needed.
Exactly. He's some character, hey? And he loves his football as well. I can see he likes his goals betting.
Yes, he does. He loves his football, and he's pretty sharp as well. I must say he's one of the shrewder punters I know. And, of course, we'll have the terms and conditions of his competition up on the Good for the Game website in the morning so the guys can go and have a read at their leisure. So there's plenty of time to enter that one. But, Chris, let's get into the weekend's football action. I think you had a pretty good week last week, and if I saw on the Good for the Game forum, you were in pretty good nick in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, we did okay Champions League, especially Tuesday night. Wednesday sort of held my own, you know. But yeah, domestic games is my feature, to be honest. And let's see what we can find this weekend.
Right. Well, let's start off with the English Premier League. I'm going to open some betting now. We've got a full house of fixtures, Chris, on Saturday. We've got, well, I'll say a full house. 8 of the 10 English Premier League matches are taking place on Saturday. And the first one, the early kickoff, it's Fulham up against Watford. Fulham at home, 14-10. And Watford, who saw the unbeaten run come crashing down against Manchester United last weekend, they're just shy of 2-1.
Yeah, I looked at this game, Brent, and I know you've got affiliations to Watford and everything, and done fantastic. And they were beaten for the first time, as you mentioned. Fulham are improving. Do we trust them to win at home against Watford? Yeah, they've only played one away game from memory, and they won that 3-1 at Burnley. The other 4 matches that they've played have been home fixtures. So we don't know too much about Watford away from home. Fulham certainly improving. Smacks of goals to me. I think over 2.5 is around 15-20, something like that. You know, that would be my pick.
Yeah, I think you can get over 2.5 around 15-20. And just having a look, I'm just on the World Sports Betting website. Over 3.5 a bet that even appeals to me a bit here at 7-4. So those are the 2 options. I think you and I are very much aligned on this game, which is hopefully a good sign. Taking us on to the next match on my list, which is Crystal Palace up against Newcastle United. Palace been perhaps a little bit disappointing, Chris, but they did beat Huddersfield away last week, and I think they could be setting up quite nicely for this one.
Not sure I totally agree with you there, Brent. I mean, their two wins this season have both come away from home, and they've been expensive to follow at home, and particularly Southampton a couple of weeks ago. I think we were both sweet on them. 11-10, a little bit short for me, but yeah, I take your point. And I mean, Newcastle have done nothing so far. They've had a tough run of fixtures, for sure. So, you know, a little bit of respect to them there. But, nah, man. Yeah, Palace 11-10. I'd probably go with that, Brent, but I wouldn't be rushing to beat you to the front of the queue.
Yeah, I like Palace here, so I'll probably be. It is one of my more bullish picks of the week. I do think they can beat Newcastle, but yeah, sounds like one you're not particularly keen on. Leicester up against Huddersfield. Just to mention before you talk on this game, Sean Bow on the comments is saying good call last week with Bournemouth v Leicester. Am I right in saying you were probably overs in that game?
No, that was Gary. GG Gaming Gary. He went over 2.5 and what was it, 4-2, I think, or something? I mean, you know, he's over 2.5 was landed in a short space of time. No, that wasn't me. I'm pretty sure that was Gary. But yeah, I do like my overs bets, and we did okay last weekend, but that wasn't mine.
Right. Sean telling me, is that how you pronounce your name? Seen, Sean, not Sean. Sorry, I've been pronouncing it Sean the whole time, but it said Seen. I'll have to try to remember that. I can't promise that I will. Leicester up against Huddersfield. Chris, you got 6-10 Leicester. This is part of Gary's cert double in the GG Gaming Show. And Huddersfield just over 5-1 at 21-4 here at WSB.
Yeah, I don't want to take Gary on after, you know, he was very convincingly right with Bournemouth Leicester over 2.5 goals last week. Yeah, I don't know, man. Huddersfield, they got a draw at Everton. They haven't done an awful lot other than that. Leicester, little bit hit and miss. 2 to 3 goals in total would be my pick.
Right, 2 to 3 goals in total. I must say, I am in the Leicester camp here. I think they're going to win this game. And 6 to 10, yeah, not the sort of price, Chris, that I'll be taking outright, because I do like to go for more around the 9 to 10 if I'm having a solid play. But I'll be adding this to a multiple, perhaps a lot like Gary did, where he's added 2 together and got the 13 to 10 double. Let's move on to the next game on the card. And it's a big one, Liverpool against Southampton. Liverpool getting a stunning late winner, which I know you were pretty happy with in the week in the Champions League. And they face a Southampton team that have given them some stick over the years. I think drawn 2 of the last 3 they've played at Anfield.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of a track record there, but I think Liverpool are a different animal this season. The problem is 1 to 5, something like that for a home win. I mean, that's not where I'm interested, to be honest. And the goals markets, you know, you're not going to get a price on over 2.5 goals, or not in my range anyway. Brent, there's a guy that I like here with the goal scorer, and it hasn't come up. And you think of Liverpool, and you think goals, and you think Salah, you think Firmino, you know, those guys. Mane's got his top scorer for Liverpool this season. There's a lad at centre-back, Van Dijk, comes forward, causes all sorts of problems at set pieces. Hasn't actually got the goal record to back this up. But to me, he's going to come right one time. And I've been backing him a few times without success. And I don't want to miss out when he does pop up. Centre half, you got to think that Liverpool's going to get a lot of set pieces, a lot of corners. Virgil van Dijk to score any time. I think it's
about 7 to 1, Chris.
29 to 4.
Yeah, just over the 7 to 1 mark. And first goal scorer, you can get him at 20 to 1. Do you reckon?
Well, can't get hurt at that price, man. He will pop up, you know, he will. And as I say, I've tried him a few times. It hasn't worked, but he's worth sticking with, because like he's such a tall guy and he's great in the air. And you've got to fancy that Liverpool's going to get all those set piece situations, as I mentioned. So yeah, you know, if you don't want to take the short prices on Liverpool or over 2.5 goals or something like that, but you want a betting interest, I'd say he's worth a try.
I agree with you there. I like that one. In fact, I'll be following you on that. This was a game which had me a bit undecided. I was looking at over 3.5 goals at 12 to 10, but I'm just a little bit worried. You know, Liverpool maybe a bit jaded after the exploits that they had in the week in the Champions League. And this could be the sort of game they'll just be happy to get over the, they'll just be happy to win a 1-0 or 2-0. They'll gladly bag it and go away. Hopefully a Virgil van Dijk goal in amongst those. And if anything, I'd be looking at something like the handicap draw here, Liverpool -2 the draw. So in other words, Liverpool to win by 2 goals exactly. You can get that at about 3 to 1. So that's the sort of way I'm looking at this game, Chris. I've got a feeling you and I are probably talking along similar lines there. Moving on.
Yeah, definitely. I saw Liverpool against Brighton, and similar game to this in terms of like the betting odds and everything, and they only won 1-0, you know, and Brighton gave them a bit of a scare, actually, you know. So yeah, just be careful, but hard to argue with Liverpool right now.
Well, Vinilin Naidu's saying he likes Liverpool to win to 0 at 17 to 20, and that also fits in a little bit with my theory on this game. I certainly do think there's a good chance that they will keep a clean sheet. Let's move on to the next game. It's Burnley up against Bournemouth. Bournemouth, Chris, normally a side that are full of goals. I see it looking at the betting here. They are favoured as well to beat Burnley away. You can get just over 15 to 10 about their chances.
Yeah, Burnley, bottom of the log, only 1 point. That's what I've got on my notes here. Bournemouth doing well. They've won 3 games, 2 defeats. 1 was against Chelsea. They've only kept 1 clean sheet, which might be a little bit of a concern. Bournemouth 15 to 10. Bournemouth draw no bet 15 to 20. Maybe, you know, a more conservative option.
Yeah, so at least just to explain to people that you take the draw no bet, you at least get your money back if it does finish level. I might be looking at the goals on this one, but not a game I'll be getting too carried away with, I must say. Manchester United up against Wolves. Well, United have bounced back after a slow start. They won their last 2 games. They're 6 to 10 to beat Wolves. Wolves, of course, have taken points off Manchester City this season, but that was at home. But they have only lost once this season, Chris. Can they get something from United at Old Trafford?
I don't know whether they can get something. I'm hoping that they can at least contribute to the scoring. I like Wolves. I've got a lot of time for them. The last 2 games they've won, there were only 1-0 wins against Burnley and West Ham. Neither sides that like been pulling up trees in the early stage of the season. But just the way these guys are going about their business, and again, they're learning in the top flight. I think they'll relish this, and I don't think they'll sit back. Often teams go to these elite clubs and they go and they try and park the bus. Wolves don't fall into that category. They're going to have a go here. Both teams to score, Brent. I'd go with that one.
Well, both teams to score is a nice price at 9 to 10. Oracle Rugby is also watching the show live. He says Wolves are runners. I know he was quite bullish on the Wolves last week. I was actually a bit disappointed in them last week. I thought they'd win by a hatful of goals, which they didn't. But I also do think, I'm with you on this one as well. I do think that Wolves can contribute to the scoring. And in fact, I give Wolves a chance of getting something out the game as well. I wouldn't put anyone off Wolves +1, which is what trading at around about the 13, 14 to 10 mark, I would imagine. Just having a quick look on the site here. Wolves +1, 27 to 20, just shy of the 14 to 10 mark. Let's go on then to Cardiff against Manchester City. Well, Manchester City, Chris, I didn't watch it in the week, but they were absolutely stunned, beaten 2-1 at home by Lyon in the Champions League. I mean, the season hasn't really, I mean, they're not doing badly, but the season hasn't started as Pep would have wanted it.
Yeah, I was amazed by that result. I mean, I watched other games because I was thinking that one was a foregone conclusion. So I was watching elsewhere in the Champions League in midweek when City were getting beat. I think they were 2-0 down here, and they eventually got beat 2-1. Thing is, though, Brent, I mean, in the league, they dropped points away at Wolves with a draw. Other than that, they've been foot perfect and often winning by daylight. I think there was a 2-1 win against Newcastle, which tripped us up, which we thought they would win comfortably. I think that they're going to be on the end of a, can I say bollocking? Are we allowed to say bollocking? from their coach after that midweek performance. And when you look at Cardiff, they lost 3-2 to Arsenal. They got rolled by 4 goals the other week as well. I think City will score 3 goals or more.
33 goals or more, so we'll get a price on that one now, Chris. I must say, yeah, I've been giving a bit of thought to this game as well, wondering, are City going to just come and demolish them, or City's confidence perhaps be knocked? But just having a look at your 3 goals or more, 15 to 20, Manchester City, 3 goals or more.
Yeah, I'm happy enough with that.
Right, okay, let's have a look. Go back. Oh, I've got too many windows open here at the moment. Brighton against Spurs, that's the last of Saturday's matches. It's the late kickoff. Brighton coming back very well in the week to draw 2-2. Landed me a little bit of a bet. I was on was on both teams to score. That was on Monday night, I think, against Southampton. They are big underdogs against the Spurs side, Chris, that is coming under some serious pressure.
Yeah, I'd be wary about backing Spurs here, even with the talent that they've got. I tripped up on Spurs again in midweek. Beaten 2-1 at Inter Milan in the Champions League, and they lost the last 2 league games as well. 2-1 at Watford, 2-1 at home to Liverpool. They were outplayed by Liverpool. Yeah, the quality players that you've got, you can't write them off. But Brighton's only win this season did come at home to Man U. They beat them 3-2, and they were disgraced in losing 1-0 at Liverpool, where they put up a good show and had a couple of chances in the second half. Could have snatched an unlikely point. They can raise the game against these top sides, Tough one, Brent. The draw might be a runner, 2 to 3 goals in total, but I wouldn't be rushing into back Spurs at that sort of price for an away win.
No, I'm with you there. In fact, I'm a little bit more bullish on this game than you are. I think Brighton are going to get something out of this one, Chris. I like Brighton plus the draw double chance or +1 on the handicap, and that's at even money. I just think Spurs are wobbling, and I think they could be there for the taking from a Brighton side that has actually impressed me. I mean, they even ran Watford pretty close, so they can't be a bad side at all. And I think I'm going to go for Brighton to get something out of this game at even money.
Love it.
That takes us to Sunday's action. I haven't had a good look at Sunday's action yet, I must admit. West Ham United versus Chelsea, and we've got West Ham here, the big underdogs, not surprisingly, at close to 5-1. Because you've got a Chelsea side that's 5 out of 5, top of the table, and they're 11 to 20. They are, of course, playing tonight. They're probably playing as we speak. I'm not too sure. So that's something that's got to be taken into account.
Yeah, definitely. They were 1-0 up when I saw it. The game might just about have finished now. They were away in Greece, I think, in the Europa League. I don't think that will necessarily have too much of an impact, other than maybe the travel factor and the fact that you maybe get back and train on Saturday morning and you're straight into a game on Sunday. The thing with Chelsea, Brent, is the trend has been for Chelsea win and over 2.5 goals. I think that's landed in 4 out of 5 games that they've played this season. They've won all 5. but 4 out of 5, there's been 3 goals or more in the match. West Ham, they tripped me up last week. I didn't expect them to beat Everton, but they did.
No, that shocked me.
Yeah, that was their first points of the season. The Chelsea win with 3 goals or more in the match is 9-10 or around that mark. And that would be my idea of the bet to go for.
Yeah, I also like that one. Scene just confirming with us that Chelsea did win the game 1-0. It was an early kickoff. So they'll probably be... were they away, Chris?
Yeah, they were away, yeah.
Okay. And he also has just put a score on here for us. Arsenal are 2-0 up. So good news for Arsenal as well. Hopefully they don't have to bomb too many resources to get the victory they need in the Europa League. Must say, I'm not a massive fan of the Europa League. Certainly at this stage, I'll probably start watching a little bit later in the season. Arsenal against Everton then is the big game on Sunday, no doubt about it. You've got the Gunners here, 9-20 favourites. And Everton quite big at 11-2, I suppose. But Everton, for me, have been a bit disappointment this season. Chris, I keep on expecting them to come right, and they keep on letting me down.
Well, they were no more disappointing than last week when losing to West Ham, who hadn't gained a point before that. And, I mean, that was a home defeat. So that doesn't bode well when you're going to Arsenal, who they lost the first 2 games, but they won the next 3. I'm not sure you can be totally convinced about Arsenal yet. They're going to be work in progress for some time as far as I'm concerned. And most of the teams that they've played so far have been in the lower reaches of the league. They lost to Man City on the opening weekend. But since then, you know, going away to Cardiff 3-2, they won. You'd expect them to do that. They won 2-1 at Newcastle last weekend. You'd expect them to do that as well, really, you know. So, yeah, I wouldn't be totally convinced about Arsenal, and 9-20 is short if that's what they are. What about over 3.5 goals? A lot of high-scoring games between in Arsenal matches this season and also in Everton games. So over 3.5 goals, 11-10.
11-10, yeah. That's tempting, eh?
Yeah.
Let's just have a look at the head-to-head record very quickly between the sides. If we have, I tell you what, I don't know if you've had a look at the head-to-heads, Chris, but you're going to love that.
Didn't see.
We got Arsenal won last year, 5-1 at home. Arsenal won 5-2 away from home last year. Arsenal won 3-1 in the year before at home, and it was 2-1 to Everton at Goodison. But what that tells you is over 2.5 goals arrived on each occasion. But the last 3 meetings have had 4 goals or more in them, which would, of course, deliver your 11-10 shot there.
Yeah, I think those stats, head-to-head stats, and then the ones from this season as well, in terms of the matches that either side has played against other teams in the Premier League, would suggest that, if we're on the right side of even money, then there's logic going for us, yeah.
Certainly has. I mean, just looking down there, I think it's probably fairly short, but I think all but one of the 10 games these sides have been involved in this season have delivered for over 2.5 goal backers. So, both teams to score 6-10. But if you think it's arrived 90% of the time, then 6-10 certainly actually not a bad price. So we could definitely get goals in this one. That takes us to the end of the English Premier League action. What's your best Premier League bet before we move on to the PSL, Chris?
No, Brent, I'll tell you what. Let me just go in my notes here. I was torn a little bit between City to score 3 goals away at Cardiff, 15-20, and a Chelsea win at West Ham with over 3 goals or more in the game at 9-10. I think I'll go with City. I think Pep's going to be cracking the whip there, and they can put Cardiff away. So City to score 3 goals at 15-20. And then if you want my value bet, our man Virgil van Dijk, he's going to come up one time, Brent, and we must record it at 29-4 to score any time against Southampton.
Well, when he finds the back of the net on the weekend, we'll be retweeting this show as many times as we can and telling people Just before we move on to PSL, Nathan Mallinson just commenting here. Burnley have made a bad start, but he makes a good point that Burnley were involved in European qualification, which is obviously fizzled out. And he reckons at 2-1 they look value at home to beat Bournemouth, especially given they were 7th in the EPL last year. And good point that you can see a guy, when a guy comes out with a comment like that, he's done a bit of homework.
Yeah, for sure. And that was Europa League games taking place on a Thursday, they do nobody any favours, and especially Burnley, you know, haven't got the resources of the Chelseas or the Arsenals that have been playing tonight. Yeah, I could see it, but I just think that they, you know, their confidence is dented. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with Bournemouth, man. Nothing wrong with the way that Bournemouth have been playing. But yeah, it's a fair point for sure.
Well, I can tell you that summer has arrived in Johannesburg all of a sudden. You probably, if you're looking at me, I've got this glowing forehead at the moment. I'm absolutely boiling hot. I've definitely got to get the fan going here in my study at home, or at the very least an air conditioner pretty soon. Otherwise, I'm going to be losing 3 to 4 kilograms every Thursday night at this rate. Yeah, pretty hot. And well, it remains to be seen whether we get some hot Premier League action. And it starts on Friday night with Wits against Polokwane City. And Wits, I know, made a very strong start to the season, Chris, but they did slip in their last fixture with a draw.
Yeah, they did, but that was away at Maritzburg and no mugs. I mean, Wits have won 4, they've drawn 1, and then they've lost 1. The one loss did come at home, but it was against Supersport that's going really well. Polokwane started badly, have improved. I think Wits have done enough overall in their first 6 matches to warrant being an odds-on shot. And what I did see was 11 to 10 and even money earlier, and I think that that's probably the right one.
Well, certainly still some even money available. I'm with you there. I think Wits look a good Friday night proposition. Let's move on to Saturday, and it's Baroka Football Club up against Orlando Pirates. I haven't really had a good look at the midweek results yet, but Pirates have certainly been looking a lot better of late. I think they drew in midweek, if I'm not mistaken. But they came off a couple of wins before that.
Yeah, they came off a couple of wins before that, and they were 2-0 up at home to Cape Town City in midweek and really going well. You know, they looked as though they could kick on and win the game 3-4-0. Ended up drawing 2-2. This is the thing with Pirates, man. I reckon that they're playing as good a football as anybody in South Africa for the last number of seasons in terms of coming forward, but they leave the back door open, you know? Have they got enough to beat Baroka? Yeah, I think so. I'll go with Pirates.
Pirates there at 12 to 10. Might make a nice little double with Wits at around the 7 to 2 mark. Just a question being asked on the comments there by Vinilin Naidu. He's saying, wow, Sundown's playing this weekend. Chris, are they involved in CAF action by any chance?
No, they're out of that. The fixture list has been all over the place, really. I mean, some teams have played 6 games, 7 games, and other teams have only played 4, you know? Yeah. What you're saying, Brent, we need 10 professors to work out the way that the PSL administered a fixture list, and we'll still be confused. So,
we'll still be confused.
I wish I had an answer for Vin there, but I'm afraid it needs a better man than me to explain it.
I mean, while we're talking 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, how can they not? Am I adding something up incorrectly? Oh, one of the fixtures I'm looking at is on the 26th of September. I'm thinking to myself, but hold on, there's enough fixtures for all the teams, but there is actually one fixture short. Okay, so I'm not going mad. Okay, yeah, quite right, Chris. You never know what these guys are up to in the PSL. Arrows up against Chipper United. Chipper, I think, delivered for you last week. You fancied them for a home win, and I do think they delivered there. That's 26 to 10 now to win away from home at Arrows, who are 14 to 10.
I'm tempted, eh? Arrows won first weekend of the new season. They haven't won since. They've had a couple of draws, I believe. That was the first win of the season for Chipper. Eric Tinkler in charge. First home game. I think second game he was in charge, but first home game. I think it was a late goal. I didn't actually see the game. Most importantly, they got their 3 points against the Arrows side now that, yeah, they don't convince me. Look, I think you've been brave if you take Chipper at 26 to 10, but Chipper draw no bet. You can probably get around 13 to 10, something like that. I wouldn't put anyone off.
You wouldn't put anyone off. I can see you got a bit of a soft spot for Chipper there, Chris.
I like Chipper, Brent.
Very close to. I know their home base is not that far away from you, so
yeah.
I'm sure you're hoping to catch one of the games when you go down to Port Elizabeth in December.
Can't wait. Yeah, I've seen him a couple of times before when Chiefs or Sundowns or Pirates or whatever have been there. I've popped across to PE, and I do like watching Chipper, I must admit. Yeah.
Right, let's go on to the next game on the PSL card. Kaizer Chiefs up against Amazulu. The Soweto team here, 11 to 10 for the win, 2 to 1 the draw, and 3 to 1 Amazulu. And Chris, this is one of those games. I mean, Kaizer Chiefs are probably the biggest South African team in terms of following. And I mean, if this game was taking place anywhere else in the world, you'd expect Chiefs to be heavily odds on. But here you can get 11-10 about them. Tell me why.
You know, Brent, Kaizer Chiefs don't play at home, eh? Because like you think about home advantage and you think about like the vast majority of the crowd in your favor. You know, when Chiefs play at home, it's often in FNB Stadium in Soweto. I know that they do switch games. I think this one's in Soweto, although I'm not 100% certain. But what happens is there's nobody there, man. And yet when Chiefs travel, there's a huge following, you know. So Kaizer Chiefs home record, away record, I don't give that much emphasis on it, in all honesty. What they have done is they've won the last 2 matches, and they needed to do so because they were under huge pressure, hey? They beat Cape Town City 4-1 last weekend, and they followed up with a 2-0 win at Free State in midweek. Amazulu, not the worst, man, not the worst. But the 2 road trips that Amazulu have played this season, they've lost and they haven't scored a goal. Can you trust Chiefs at home? Home, apparently. Yeah. 11-10, I think Chiefs are, something like that. Tentative call, man. I'd go with Chiefs, but I'm not rushing in there.
Well, you have to hope that there's more goals in this game than there were in both meetings between the sides last year, because it was 2 0-0 draws.
Yeah, well, that was Chiefs last season, man. I mean, they couldn't score goals, but they could defend. This season, I think it's the other way around in some circumstances. Amazulu's a bit harder to weigh up, man, but they've got nothing to lose. Yeah, I'm still in favour of Chiefs, but yeah, not banker material. Can we say that?
Well, let me just say, if Hein de Mont is watching now, if he watches the recording at some stage, let me give you the Kaizer Chiefs Orlando Pirates double there, Hein. You'll get about 7-2 on that one. Climb in, mate. The last time I gave him that double, I think both teams lost. But we'll on the face of it, I'd have to say I think the Chiefs 11-10 is a pretty good bet. So yeah, that's where I'm heading. Maybe you're right. Perhaps not as bullish as I'm sounding there. Maybe a little bit more of a tentative call. Free State Stars up against Highlands Park. I think Highlands recently broke their run of draws because they started off with something like 4 or 5 draws. But they did. I think they did get a win in their last start, did they?
They did. They did start off with 4 straight draws, and we were on them for the draw last time out as well. And they actually won 2-1 at home to Golden Arrows. Free State, only 1 win this season. They look poor against Chiefs in midweek as well. Something not quite right there. They had a terrific season last time around. You know what? I reckon Highlands could be the value bet of the weekend on the PSL coupon. 9-4 to win the game. 9-4
to win the game. Highlands, I'm not going to argue with you there. Sounds like a value price. And certainly they are. I mean, the fact that they've had all those draws and that win means they also are undefeated in the PSL in their first year. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've run the luck at times, but they've drawn away to Pirates and they've drawn away to Sundowns. Maybe the circumstances of when they met those teams might actually have favoured them. But, I mean, if they can get draws there, then can they win away at Free State Stars? Yeah, I reckon they can.
One team that's made an excellent start to the season is Bloem Celtic. They're currently sitting second of the table, and they play Maritzburg United, who've got off to something of a slow start. And Celtic here, even money. Am I right in saying Steve Campella's at Celtic now?
Yeah, he is, and he surprised me, to be honest, because I really thought they were going to struggle. But they're unbeaten. Is it 4 wins and 1 draw? And the 1 draw, they came back from 2-0 down against Chiefs to snatch a 2-2 draw, which they should never have got, in all honesty. But, yeah, I mean, hats off to them. They've been terrific.
Right.
Maritzburg played 4, lost 2, drawn 2. The 2 draws, 0-0 at home to Chiefs. They only had 10 men. And then they drew 0-0 against Wits as well. Wits going well, top of the log, you know, not bad. That suggests to me that Maritzburg can defend. and I'm going with the draw here. I did see there was only 19-10. I would have thought, we should be getting better than 2-1 for the draw, considering that Celtic's got such a good record and Maritzburg are bottom of the log. Hunt around, maybe prices change as well, and especially we got a couple of days from when we're recording this up to match day. Anything 2-1 or above, I'd go with a draw.
Right, Supersport up against Leopards. That's the last game we're going to be talking about. Supersport 21-20, 19-10 the draw, and 67-20 the Leopards.
Okay, I would say home win, with the proviso that Supersport's got the MTN8 final coming up in a week's time, a weekend's time, if you like. And yeah, maybe they could be distracted by that. But they've won 2 out of 2 at home. They got beat by Pirates. 2 late goals last time out. They've beaten Wits, the only team to beat Wits, who are going really well. And their other defeat came early on in the season away at Cape Town. Yeah, Supersport for me, as long as they keep focused, I think Supersport's the right one here.
Right, well, I'm going Supersport here, but I'm going to go with a bit of a speculative play, Chris. I think Supersport to win by exactly 1 goal at just shy of 3-1. That's 28-10.
I wouldn't put you off.
That brings us to the end of the show and your PSL best bet of the weekend. You did say Highlands, your value bet at 9-4. Anything?
Yeah, I like Wits, hopefully, to get us off on the right foot on Friday night. It's great if you can get a good one in early. Hey, so let's go with Wits at even money early doors Friday for this weekend, and let's have a dabble at Highlands at 9-4 to win later in the weekend, and then. Yeah, people will say, how can you banker a draw? Well, I wouldn't banker it, but I really do like the draw in the Celtic Maritzburg game.
All right, the draw there, and try and shop around for a bit of 2-1. Vin just commenting there off the topic. He's asking us if we can have some NFL maybe shows or something in the forum on NFL. And Vin, definitely, I mean, by all means, open an NFL thread. I know we have over the years had guys who've posted their bets on the forum. I've got to be honest, I wouldn't be the man to run an NFL show because I've got absolutely no clue what's going on. But certainly, if we can get enough interest on the forum and we've got some guys who want to be on, we can certainly give it a bash, even if it's a once-off for like one of the bigger games of the season or something like that. But by all means, if you do start something on the forum, I'm pretty sure you'll get quite a few of our guys like Kevin Turner. I know KT, I always forget the numbers that follow his name, but he really does enjoy those American bets, and guys like Rugabugger, Sean Nicholas will also get involved. Chris, thanks very much for joining me. It's been great having you on the show. Have a good weekend. I'm going away to the game farm this weekend, so looking forward to some relaxation. But the big news is there's a TV, there's Wi-Fi, so I'll certainly be punting.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brent, and enjoy your weekend away.
Great. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Remember, you can subscribe to the show just by clicking on the subscribe button. Please do so that you don't miss any of our videos. And make sure you watch, if you missed them, repeats of the GG Gaming show, as well as our flagship rugby show, The Handicap, which took place earlier tonight. Thanks very much for joining us, and have a good betting weekend.